Welcome back to Fight News Now. It's John Pollock here with you, and it's time to welcome in our analysts John Ramdian and Robin Black for another edition of 3 Rounds. And you know, guys, this past weekend we had Invicta with some streaming problems. Might have been too many people logging in. I guess they found the answer. Let's go head-to-head with Mayweather and Maidana, and we won't be interrupting our live stream.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm going to be watching Mayweather and Marcus Maidana collide for the second time, but I will tell you, I'm going to be watching Andre Arlovski, former UFC heavyweight champion, taking on Bigfoot Silva. And Robin, over the next number of weeks and months, the heavyweight division is going to be impacted. 1 week removed from Arlovski and Bigfoot, we get a fight that could deliver fight of the year with Roy Big Country Nelson taking on Mark Hunt. And of course, the heavyweight division culminates in a big fight in November when the baddest dude in the world, arguably, Cain Velasquez, I think that he is, taking on Fabrizio Verdun, one of the baddest dudes in the submission realm, but we've seen the improvements of his hands. So right now, it's a good time to be a heavyweight. We're waiting for Junior Dos Santos to come back. Josh Barnett doesn't have anything on the table. Travis Brown made the move from Greg Jackson. He's now training in Glendale. So what do you think of the heavyweight picture right now?
Well, it's a great time to be a heavyweight unless you're Overeem, in which case you're less popular in a gym than Ringworm is, and and you're getting knocked out on a regular basis. That guy has to turn a corner. He's still a very popular or unpopular, which is equally as good, and very interesting fighter. Cain Velasquez is the best fighter on the planet at heavyweight, no question about it. But Verdun is a legitimate threat to him. If they fought 20 times, I'd give Cain 12 of them, give him 14 of them. That's what it means to be the best. But can he lose that fight? Absolutely. This weekend, I love the fight too. I love that Bigfoot and Hunt and Big Country, man. That's crazy.
Now, when you break down Andre Arlovski and Brendan Schaub, we saw that was the fight that Andre Arlovski had. Brendan Schaub in his return to the UFC. Going into this fight from Bigfoot, what do you take away from that Schaub fight from Arlovski? Fought very, very conservatively. Some people believe Brendan Schaub won. Andre Arlovski said, come on, crowd, don't boo me. Yeah. I made my return to the UFC. It was successful. Hopefully my next fight is a little more exciting. Obviously, there's some nerves there. Andre Arlovski's been fighting out of the UFC for such a long, long time. He felt that this is his home. This is where he was the champion. He's going to try to get back to the top of that mountain. He has to look impressive, though, in this fight against Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot has stood in front of Arlovski before, and he's watched this fight, but I don't think either of those matter. I don't think either of those are all that relevant. In the Schaub fight, Arlovski was very tentative. He had that pressure, that very common, heavy pressure reaction of fighting not to lose. Fighting to make sure that you don't get knocked out, you don't end up falling flat on your face. And that's how he fought it. I don't think he's going to fight Bigfoot that way. He's going to push Bigfoot. The way to deal with the big man is push him backwards. That's how everybody's had success with him, and I think that's what Arlovski's going to look to do. Because of that, I expect a really, really exciting fight on the feet.
A lot of people believe that Andre Arlovski, we know that he can take a punch in the face. I know that there's been criticism in the past that Andre Arlovski can't take a punch. Just go back and look at that first fight with Bigfoot Silva. He proves that he's got a chin. But the problem is when you're facing guys in the heavyweight division that are 260, 270 pounds or even higher come fight time, one perfectly placed right or left hand to the jaw, you're done. Why does Arlovski play with fire instead of using his athleticism sometimes to dump these guys on the ground?
That's a really good question. It's something we've been looking at a lot recently. First of all, one imperfectly placed punch from a guy like that will break.
Blocked.
Exactly, blocked and kind of coward. Like, you can't imagine the power that these men have. And as a result, it's a very, very different game. There is almost no similarity. It's still mixed martial arts. It's still two men fighting in a cage. But when Demetrius Johnson fights a challenger and Cain Velasquez fights a challenger, if you look at it analytically, these fights are not very similar at all. The heavyweight, every punch matters. You have to react in a way that every single time you're dealing with fire, it could be the end of the night. Why does Arlovski do that? Some guys are motivated by excitement. Some guys, and he doesn't seem to be the most high-risk, entertaining individual when you talk to him, but when he goes into that fight, he is motivated by novel experiences. And there's no more novel experience than here, and you can't see, and you're backing up, and people are fighting, and the crowd is screaming. That's how the man wants to fight. That's how he's driven to experience combat, and that makes him, when he is on, it makes him a great fighter.
I want to talk about Cain Velasquez, the guy ruling the division right now. We know why he's so good. He can take a punch. His pressure is ridiculous. His cardio is insane. He hits like a Mack truck. He's well trained. He's got serious resolve. he is a complete mixed martial artist. We know why we like him.
Yeah.
But you look at this fight with Mark Hunt and Roy Nelson, it's a throwback fight. We don't expect to see jiu-jitsu from Mark Hunt. Sure, we might get to see a takedown from Roy Nelson. We know that he can win that way. He's a Renzo Gracie black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But what fans expect from this fight, I think every fan that tunes in, they expect Roy Nelson and Mark Hunt to stand in the center of the cage and throw down.
Yeah, and they're gonna get that.
Yeah.
They are gonna get that. You might hit the ground once or twice, there might be a little action on the cage, but both of these two guys know what side they slop peanut butter all over their bread, and that is standing in the middle and just punching the crap out of each other. It is something that has taken shape in fighting, not just always looking to win, but looking to entertain. These men understand that.
Josh Barnett, another guy who doesn't have a date yet. Is there anything, that, John, that you're looking forward to in the heavyweight division? A couple of matchups, this fight with Roy Nelson and Mark Hunt. What do you think of the heavyweight
Nelson
division?
Hunt, a lot of fun. I think you guys really glossed over Friday night's performance of one Bobby Lashley.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
TNA champion.
Hey, you got to give props to Bobby Lashley, though. He says, I should have never signed with Strikeforce. I was a huge name because of my time in wrestling. But when the money's coming, it's hard for me to turn it down because I've got a family, I've got people to support. So you can understand why Lashley took those.
Also had the immediate comparisons to Brock Lesnar, which were somewhat unfair. But nonetheless, Bobby Lashley getting his first Bellator win. We will take a short timeout, but when we come back on the other side, you are going to have a chance to win tickets to see Joe Rogan at the Just for Laughs Festival in Toronto, and we've got Priscilla Caripan in the shift, and it wouldn't be a complete episode without this week's viral video, so stay tuned.